Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Yay! Thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I'm on.
Oh.
I'm just waiting.
Oh, people are signing in.
Oh, people are signing in and nothing has occurred to me to talk about yet.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see what happens. We'll just
Can
listen.
I come around and say hi real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Wow. Oh, I get to be with Hope and Wisdom Dialogue. So yeah, my computer, the screen went out. So I have to settle for real life and be here with Hope. I can't be with her on the computer. So yeah, I'll be right around the corner.
In case
here.
anyone wants Bob, he's right around the corner.
That's right. Aloha, all you Hope devotees.
He's so fun. Ah. Yay, aloha, Holly. Well, thank you for joining. So here's the thing. There is no love or lover like the love of God. There's nothing that compares. There's nothing that compares. I hear from people very often about how they're disturbed by the way people treat them. The way people treat them. Whether it be their partners or their friends or anything like that. There's no one out there to treat you any particular way because it's all coming from your own mind. But as you're seeking for love outside of your mind, it's like you're resisting the only love you can really receive. See? It's not like it doesn't get reflected back to you in all kinds of forms in the material world. It will get reflected back to you like that. But there's this lack of trust. And so trying to get certain people to behave certain ways or love you in a certain way or be a certain way to you is demonstrating lack of trust, lack of acceptance of where your love really comes from. Who really loves you? It's not coming from people. When you have the perception of people loving you, that's still the perception, having the perception of God's love. That's what's coming back to you. That's what you're receiving it. You're receiving it for yourself. And then you're sending out messengers to bring it back to you. That's all. That's all. And what happens when you don't see it? When you don't see it reflected back to you? That's an opportunity. That's an opportunity to allow it more. That's the whole reason that there's a lack of love in the perception. It's to see where you're withholding it from yourself. The only way you can perceive lack of love in your perception is if you are withholding it from yourself. So here's the thing about that. It's like, hooray! Thank you for showing me. It's not like, oh God, I got to get better than this. I got to get better at this. I got to get it so that people reflect love back to me. I got to get it so that people are better at loving me. So they show me that I'm really worthy. That's not the point. That's not even the point. When you perceive lack of love, it's showing you. It's like you are asking that for that reflection so that you can see where to allow the compassion in. It's not a matter of trying to manipulate the person. So, the ego will have you going from the opposite direction, like from the outside in. You go, this is how I want to feel. This is how I should feel. This is how people should treat me. Now, why don't you treat me that way? I want you to treat me that way. Why don't you do this, this, and this for me, with me, to me, whatever? Why don't you act more like this? You see that going all the time in romantic relationships and also with parents and children. You know, that isn't the way you treat me, so to speak. So that's some ignorance there. It's ignorance because it's not acknowledging where that sense is coming from or what it's really for. I mean, believe me when I say you want it exactly the way it is. You want it exactly the way it's being presented to you. Actually, the way it's being presented to you is the way it's not. It's not really like that. You're not seeing anything that's real. You're seeing a representation of your beliefs is all. You want it just like that. You want to see the representation of your beliefs because of what it's for, because of what you could do with it. You can allow so much love and healing that you never have to seek outside of yourself for anything. You never have to seek outside of yourself as if that is going to complete you. I heard from a young woman today who told me how heartbroken she was because she had all this hope for this relationship to work out. Okay? That's false hope. That's false hope, see? Because there can't be any hope as long as the world is taken outside of yourself. If it's taken as outside of yourself, then it's attachment. That's false hope. It's always going to lead to suffering. And it's so funny because when you're hoping for a relationship, a certain kind of relationship, you're actually manifesting the opposite of that. But you know what's funny? It'll show it to you as if, oh, good, I've got it. And then it'll change. Okay. And then it will change. It's really funny because it's like if you're just willing to accept the love from within, if you're willing to accept the love from within, get all of your joy from your spirit, from God, then it doesn't matter. You're having a good time in receiving the love with however people are coming and going. However they're coming and going. You know, in this case, it was like, I just really want you to be faithful to me. I want someone who's faithful to me. Will you be faithful to me? You know, and, you know, I really don't like when people watch porn either. So you not watch porn. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, none of that stuff is good for me. So then, of course, come to find out it's the opposite of what he says. At least that's the perception. I don't know. But the perception is he's the opposite of what he says. And then there's this big heartbreak. And it's like anything like that, you can be completely light with it. Knowing what it is that resonates with you, like say, you know, for some people, myself included, a monogamous kind romantic relationship, and you're not really into the porn thing and stuff like that. It's okay if you are. It's okay if you are. I don't care. Oh, if you want to tell me that you aren't and then you are, I think that's funny. It's fun and funny. If I feel any kind of heartbreak about it, I know that I projected it. It's not because you did it. It's not because of you lying to me. That's not possible. I can lie to myself. You can't lie to me, though. That's not possible. I can have a perception of you lying to me, but I projected that. All of my perception is projected by me. See? So where's the heartache coming from? That's the thing. And that's where all that stuff gets to just cut off. It comes to an end. When you're willing to see that there is no world outside of yourself and you're projecting all of these things, you're projecting the feelings, you're projecting the thoughts, you're projecting the guy or girl or whatever, kid, anyone that seems to be doing something against your will. Okay? No one can do anything against your will. when you recognize no one can do anything against your will, that heartache, the thing about the heartache is it seemed to have no justification in reality. It's absolutely having no justification. How do you see that? You're willing to feel that sense of heartache, but you're firmly, or you can say gently, firmly and gently, because it's almost firmly in a way where you're not allowing thoughts that tell you this is real to sway you, but also holding it gently, as in it can manifest however it needs to manifest. Just gentle. Okay? So the truth is true. There's no way this is outside of yourself, and get the feeling effect of it. This is how the veil gets thinned. And you get to have the recognition that there is no outside of you. When there is no outside of you, there's no justification for suffering. It's really awesome because you can find yourself in suffering. You know, and let me just tell you guys, give you an idea. What is suffering to start out with? Let's qualify that. What is it? It's any sense of unease, okay? You're naturally at ease, completely at ease. You're naturally totally joyful, trusting, feeling very worthy no matter what you perceive, see? But through habits, you've learned to take the perception as if it means something about you. As if it's saying something about you. And it's not. It's just like you're watching a show. So if you feel some kind of heartache, and it seems as if someone did something to you and you take that as if it's about yourself, that's what I mean by buying into the perception. The world has to be outside of yourself if that's the case. What you're saying is that the world is outside of yourself. When you just take it in, you're willing to recognize that it's all arising inside, then there's no need for any kind of upset. Not that you can't feel it. You can have the perception of it. It's just that you won't be pushing it along with thoughts, projecting it further to keep it going. See, I wish I had this. I saw one post today from a friend on Facebook. She said, I wish I could do this and this and this, but I don't have money or time. People just buy right into that. Oh, that's so sad that you don't have any money or time. And the thing is, we're making it up. It's dream. We're making it up. The idea that I don't have money or time is something that is used to generate this feeling of sadness. Okay? It's used for that. You could say the sadness is already there for another reason. The sadness is a projected feeling. Off of that projection, this story comes up. How do you keep generating that feeling? Believe in the story. How do you heal the cause of getting a feeling of sadness or heartache? Let the story play out without buying into it, but get that feeling effect of sadness. You will anyways. You're not buying into the story. You'll be getting it. You'll be getting the feeling. And there are several things you can employ there. Like you can say they're like methods that you could employ. And one of them is just asking, show me within this feeling. Show me. Some of my friends call me. That's awesome too. There's all kinds of different methods that could arise, and it's not like you have a choice in them. It's just a matter of opening to them, asking for guidance. How should I look at this? Show me how to be with this so that I can see more clearly. That I'm not really a body, that I'm only light. A perfect creation. Perfectly created. Unable to make anything harmful. Okay. Now, I have a question from a lovely, lovely friend. Okay, you wrote something along the lines of, if you perceive people to mistreat you, it's because you feel guilt over, perceive yourself as having mistreated others. Okay. Okay. You perceive yourself as having, okay. A friend of mine accused me of not following up on a promise a while ago, and it's been a beautiful journey of letting this situation clean my windows of perception. But I know I haven't gotten the full release yet. The past week or so, my reality is full of people not living up to their promise to me, but in the form of paid services or products from companies. Okay, this is a fun one. I'm pretty sure Spirit knows I wouldn't get upset with a single person anymore, and claiming anyone to mistreat me. And it might be coming up from this because this is very... Oh, where did it go? Oh, this is long. It's very upsetting to me. I paid good money. This is the quote. I paid good money for a service. You have to deliver on your promise. Lots of anger and resentment and not wanting them to get away with it. Seething with anger over the mistreatment. Yes. Whereas when my friend accused me of this, I did feel guilty, but was trying to get rid of the guilt through rationalizing my innocence. That's great. So you see how it's projecting all over the place. I love this. Is you get this sense like, oh my God, they can't treat me like this. Especially, with a company. It's not even like a person or a friend of yours, it's a company. They're like held to this higher standard and they shouldn't be treating you like this. It still comes down to the same thing. It's projected from the mind. The ego will rationalize that, oh, well, this is a company and they should know better and this isn't a friend or whatever it will say. But there is nothing outside of your mind. And even that company that's showing you that they're mistreating you is giving you a gift. They're giving you a gift, and that anger is the gift. You could say that you wrote this down and you said, hey, say this to me so that I can get this sense of anger. Okay. And all of the anger is from feeling like you separated yourself from God. That's all the anger is all about. It's anger at yourself. Because it's as if you separated yourself. Okay. What are you doing, Bob?
Oh, I'm just wanted to see what you get to see.
Oh, I'm reading this email.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Yeah, so they can send you private messages on Facebook.
Sure. Anyway.
Yeah, because I just wondered.
Yeah. If it's meant to come out, it will.
When I'm on Facebook, I don't see all of those messages, but now I see that they send you private messages.
Oh yeah, all different ways.
Oh.
So when you're sensing that anger with the company, when you're sensing that anger with the company and you're making it real, as in just believing in the thought of why your anger is justified, that's what makes it real. This feeling is justified because they did this to me. Okay. And I've had the experience even just this week of having a company where it was a company and it seemed like they should really be doing that right. And it seemed like they really screwed me over to the tune of like $40,000, which was pretty funny. So there's this sense like, oh my gosh, they're not going to get away with this. That is not the way you treat someone. They're so not going to get away with this. And, it took me a couple days because it seemed like that. I know there's no difference between any of these things, But it took me a couple days to actually see all the way through it to where I'm like, you know what? Nothing happened. Nothing happened. I'm not even interested in having any kind of legal action or something like that. Nothing happened. I can't go through with making a case about how someone did me wrong, even if it happens to be in the system in the world. And that's really what the systems are made for. The systems in the world is made up so that you can use that thing to make yourself feel separate. And basically, anger is making yourself feel separate. Even frustration, irritation, anything that has to do with any kind of upset or unease, lack of peace, is basically projected by the ego so that we can keep the world as if it's real and keep our identities in a body as if this body needs some protection. Okay. Oh no, what kind of comfort am I going to lose if I paid good money and they didn't deliver on what they paid? And that's how you're going to start to see fewer and fewer instances of people projecting the guilty thing onto you. See, because your willingness to forgive the trespasses that you perceive, that's like sending out messengers to come back and show you what you've done. You know, it's always kind of showing you what you've done in that way. The messengers that come back to you, the people that you perceive in your life, anyone you run into, is kind of showing you what you've done as far as your mind. And it's like you've asked them to say and do those things to you, for you. Yeah, apparently though, because nothing can be done to you. It's dream. You understand what that means? If you understand what that means, like it's dream, that means the one dreaming isn't actually touched by the dream. Okay? There's nothing to do. There's nothing to try to get out of it. There's only this moment. There's only loving. There's only loving. But when there's mistrust, when there's mistrust in the spirit, the dream starts to look like it's going awry. And the only way it's going to look like it's going awry is you taking it a certain way, really. You taking it a certain way. When you make it all one thing, when you take anything and just generalize it into all one thing that you're meant to be with, because of who you are, that you're meant to be with, then it's all healing. There's nothing that's going awry, chaotic, anything like that. So what's being asked here is, in the midst of perceived chaos, you're willing to see through it, because there is no chaos. There isn't. Nothing's happening. No one can rip you off. No business, no person, nothing. Everyone who gives you anything is giving you a gift. It's a gift of awareness. Now, my friends who are on here with me, please feel free to chat me up if you would like to have a conversation with me. Also, you can raise your hand. Oh, probably good for me to open the chat so that I know if someone's okay. Oh yeah, you guys are just good listeners. Thank you. I appreciate you. I have something else from Lori. Lori has been my panelist for a while now. And today she couldn't make it. Same thing as last week. She's traveling around and doesn't have the reception. Okay, so here's what she's saying. Here's where she goes with it. I think it is running well. This morning around 3, when I woke up, there was a different way of hearing it. It's like you were as clear as a bell. She's talking about listening to my videos that are on YouTube. I think she's listening to the last video. Yeah. So when she first watched it, she did not get it. I did not get it. I was trying so hard, and the thought was, I can't get this. Well, this morning around 3, when I woke up, there was a different way of hearing it. It's like you were clear as a bell. I'm seeing that I'm choosing fear over love, and that I am beating myself up for it. That's a big one right there. And that's what I see going on here, is especially coming clear to me this week. This is a big one. This remorseful feeling. It's a really big tool for the ego. The ego loves this remorseful feeling, like I've done it wrong. Like, oh, you did it now. Like even, oh, you didn't live up to the loving being that you want to be, let's say. Okay. It's all right now, though. Nothing happened. Nothing happened. So the beating the self up is resisting love right now. It seems that something is clearing as I feel much less fear, and I'm back to seeing the thoughts as the uncomfortable feelings come. So what she means is you're getting this uncomfortable feeling, but you're willing to stop and look at the thoughts. Look at what thoughts are being offered with that feeling. And then you won't follow them. Or maybe you will follow them, but you'll be aware that you're following them. And even when you're just aware that you're following those thoughts, the veil is thinning. Healing is happening. It's different. It's a different way of going through it now. It's different from going through it in a way like, oh, this is so real. It's so real. I can't get out of this. I'm in this and I can't get out of this. You're not in anything. There's a thought that says I'm in this and I can't get out of this, and it seems attractive to you, so you follow it. That's all. Seems like an uncomfortable feeling arises and the stories start building. Yep. And they are mostly about lack and future. Yep. That's it. And it's all lack. Whether you're talking financial lack or any other kind of lack, it's all lack. It's all lack of love. It's all some kind of lack of love. Someone didn't do it right, or someone didn't give you enough, or you're not enough. It doesn't matter. Remorseful, anything like that. It's all lack. It's all the same thing. So you could make it all the same thing in your mind and really generalize it in your mind. And then, generalizing as in it is a projection. It's one projection from your mind. There's nothing else going on. There's nothing really going on the surface. There's no differentiation between things. Nothing's different. It's all the same thing. I know I'm saying that a lot, but that's because it's important. It's all the same thing. Nothing's different. Okay. I'm hoping to be on with you tonight, but it didn't work out last week, so I'm not attached to it. Well, that's good because it didn't occur. I can actually say hooray when the supposed shit hits the fan. Probably she means when I'm viewing that video from September, I'm saying, how can I say hooray? It was so far from what I could imagine. Right. It does. It tends to show itself to you like that. But, I can speak from experience when I say not forever, not forever. Even when it looks like it's bleak, even like it looks like, how can I say hooray to this? It's like, I know I can. It gets to, I know I can and will say hooray to this because it doesn't mean anything. These things, come up like there's some kind of big, oh, this is a big one. There's no big one. There's no big one. Like my friend Lori, she ended up leaving her house. She was there for like 35 years or something like that. A long ass time. I don't know how long. But she felt like it was like getting torn apart. Like I'm speaking for her, but she'd probably agree with that. It felt very painful, very, very painful. And so, to her, it seemed like everything she learned was lost because she was feeling like she was in this pain. She was just living through this pain. And, it's like once you see through to a certain degree, even the living through the pain in knowing and recognizing and admitting that you're projecting it, it's going to wear away the veil very quickly and you're going to be brought back again. The thing is, once you make an agreement, it's kind of like you make an agreement with God to save the world. It's pretty much like that because the world is within you and it's condemned by you. So, so saving the world is basically forgiving the world. And once you decide with God, you're going to forgive the world, then you are. No matter what, you have perceptions of these different things. I'm so I'm so bad, I'm so unspiritual now, or whatever. I'm not practicing what I preach, anything like that. Let it all fall. It's meaningless. All that you can see of yourself is an illusion. It's like a painting. It's not who you are. All that you can perceive of yourself is nothing, nothing at all. Okay? Who you really are, you cannot be perceived. And that perception, whatever you make of yourself, it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. It becomes nothing. Okay? And then she said, I can clearly see that I am making all of this up. Yes, and you will. You'll see it over and over again. And there seems to have been a shift. Yes. Yes. There seems to be some big shifts from those ones that seem big. See? Because they bring up a big energy. Yeah. They're bringing up a big energy. Energy is also an illusion. And feeling is energy. Feeling is energy. Feeling is also an illusion. It's instructive. It tells you, the feeling tells you if there's any kind of dis-ease, any unease, the feeling is telling you that you are believing something that's untrue about yourself. Simply admitting that is going to bring you around. It's only a matter of time. And don't worry about time. That's not under your control either. Time isn't under your control. You'd say it's under the control of your spirit. And everything that seems to be occurring to you now and everything you seem to be going through is leading to a resurrection. That's what that shift is. Like a resurrection. It's like a warm up to the final resurrection where you just escape the body prison. You're no longer contained by it. That's the trajectory that all of us are on. That's the very trajectory that all of us are on. To eventually escape the body, escape this false prison that's make-believe. This idea of confinement. It always needs comfort, right? It needs to be washed. It needs to be fed. It needs to get water. It needs to get a workout. It needs sex for some people. Spoiler alert, that's a good one. And you know what? Actually, you have no needs. You have no needs. So even if, you think you have needs, and then that's the idea, is that you have to meet them on your own, and that's what makes suffering. Even a perceived need that arises, even if it's perceived need, it's already being taken care of. There's nothing for you to do about it. When something shows up as if you need something, you don't really need it. That's the ego's interpretation of it. All needs are a reflection of needing to get back to the source, which you're already there, but it's the thought of needing it that's attractive. So then there's neediness for these things on the surface. Here in our community, we have some pretty funny sayings, but people are serious about it, though. That's what makes it really funny. You're not meeting my needs, for instance. There's a whole language. There's a whole language revolves around it. It's great. The way you're acting right now doesn't meet my need for serenity, for instance.
People are very needy.
I just crack up at the different ways and that the ego will use these bodies that says separate things. Use these bodies as separate things under different cloaks. Under these different cloaks, like this particular one is the cloak of spirituality. The cloak of having better relationships.
You were talking about relationships, and it's the Bible spells out the relationship that will satisfy. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and love thy neighbor as thyself. So it's not a duo; it's a trinity of love.
Yeah.
So it begins with loving God, having your relationship with God being full and complete within yourself through your love of your inner universe.
Yes.
Close your eyes to the outer world and listen for the voice, still small voice of God to speak to you and comfort you and enlighten you. And then you go forward into the world full and complete, not being needy, not looking to anyone or anything. You're just a giver. You're just full to overflowing because of the withinness, your relationship with Source, with God, with your true identity, your I am being. And then you recognize that in everyone and everything you see. And there's no need to be needy.
There's no need to be needy, Bob says. Yeah, that's right. All of it comes from within. All of it comes from within. All the relationships you're going to be brought to exactly, and yet not even brought to, that may not be the term, but it's unfolding as if we're drawn together, like a picture, more like a picture. We're drawn together for healing, only for healing. And when there's no healing to be accomplished through being drawn together, we're drawn apart. That's all. We come up with funny reasons why we're drawn apart. Oh, they didn't meet my need for
Sex.
That's one. They didn't. I had one friend ask me in Wisdom Dialogues in person one time, but isn't sex a real need? And I go, how can it be a real need? What if you just had your dick chopped off? You wouldn't have any need for it. You'd still be fine. You know, accepting the love of God, I'm telling you, is better than any sex. But when you associate this need as something, and this need for sex, it really is like a distraction, because it's as if you can use another body to make that same feeling. And what you get by putting bodies together like that is you get a temporary sort of like a shadow or a symbol of what's already being offered to you all the time. So it's sort of like a distraction, like I'll go out there and get my love from out there, that feeling of completion, I'll get my feeling of completion from out there. And that's what that sexual craving is, okay? I started using the sexual craving long time ago, I think. I don't know, whatever you consider long. It seems like it was maybe like 3-4 years ago or something. Whenever the sexual craving would arise, I would use that sexual craving because it's kind of an intense feeling. It would give me an intense feeling like I really wanted something. I wanted a body. I wanted another body. So I would use that intense feeling, that craving, to acknowledge that I already have what I need right now, and I would allow that in, and it would give me exactly what it is that I'm looking for, but even more. The feelings that you get through mating bodies like that together, sexually, is really only a small, it's like scratching the surface of what is being offered to you all the time. That need, it's sort of like craving a food. It's really similar to that. Sort of like craving a food. What you really want is a feeling. And you want a feeling that's available to you right now. The feeling is also an illusion, but the feeling feels so good because it doesn't include this sense of lack. It's completion. And sex can arise within that, food can arise within that, anything, and it just enhances it. It makes it that much more beautiful. but you never have to crave for anything. You never have to seek after anything. Okay?
Seek first the kingdom, and all these things shall be added unto you.
Yeah.
That's it. And the kingdom is within.
The kingdom is within. Well, and what I see the problem that people have with that is that they seek the kingdom within for a little while, and then there's like, where's the manifestation of it? Okay, but where's the manifestation of it? Why am I still perceiving lack here? Why am I still like not getting enough sex, not getting enough money, not getting enough love, not getting enough of the right food, right attention, right, I don't know. It's always like I'm not getting enough or I'm getting too much. Same thing. It's the same thing.
Jesus says those are the ones that are seeking the loaves and fishes, not the source from which he created the loaves and fishes. He generated the loaves and fishes, and people aren't interested in the principle in which he created the loaves and fishes. They want loaves and fishes.
Right. Right. It's like, well, I want the surface manifestation. And watch that. Yeah, watch that thought, because that's the ignorant thought. That's the ignorant thought, that I want that manifestation. I want that manifestation, though. That is the ignorance right there. And look at how you feel with it. Get that sense. Get that feeling sense. Get that feeling sense and acknowledge that you're projecting it right now. You're making a distraction for yourself, so you cannot receive the love of God, receive the love of your spirit. If you're opposed to the word God, you could say, receive the love of your spirit. Yay, everyone. Thank you, thank you. So I was hearing from one parent today, and she said that she thinks, or someone else told her, and she agreed, that parents can't really unschool their kids unless they're unschooled first. And the way I see it here is we're all unschooling, kids notwithstanding. Unschooling, to me, let's qualify unschooling. Unschooling to me is the unconditioning, kind of like wearing away at the society's conditioning as it comes up within you. So it's not a fight at all. It's very gentle. It's very gentle. It's like a gentle, it's like undoing what you've done, because basically the way you're conditioned and all of your beliefs and the way you behave, you've done that to yourself, not for reals, but in the dream. Okay, so it's undoing what's apparently been done. That's unschooling. So when it comes to being with children, and there's this whole unschooling movement and philosophy, and the way I see that movement and philosophy is that we're allowing freedom for our kids, and we're supporting their creativity. So we're allowing freedom and supporting creativity. That's something that people don't allow for themselves, though. So how can they? A parent certainly can't allow that for their children if they haven't allowed that for themselves first. And here's what I see, parents taking on that name, unschooling. Here's what I am. I'm an unschooling parent. This is what I do. I unschool my kids. My kids are unschoolers. And the funny thing is, the kids don't really need to be unschooled until they've been to school or you've schooled them with your concepts. So the unschooling is mainly for the parents, and that's why my book is called Unschooling for Parents. If you haven't got my book yet, check it out. I think you're going to like it if you're interested in this kind of thing, okay? So it's like for the parents are learning, if they're into it. I'm not saying that they need to or they should or they have to or anything like that. If and when they're into it, because there is a when in here. It may not be in this particular lifetime that it's perceived, but there's definitely, everyone's on that trajectory to where there's going to be a drive to unlearn what's been learned, okay? So if you find yourself at that place at this point in time, number one, check out my book, really goes into that. Also, I've received donations for people who feel like they don't have the resources to get my book. Let me know, send it to you. Okay, I have copies here. Most importantly, I like people to read about unschooling, because it really does come completely from your mind. And as you start to see that your child is actually arising in your mind, and if you don't have children, apply this to every person that arises, okay? It's funny because I did a book as in like from a parenting perspective to help other parents out, but really it applies to anyone who arises in your perception. In fact, it could be said that everyone who arises in your perception is like your child, okay? Because they are being projected by you. You're not seeing them clearly. You're not seeing them as they are. You're having a misperception of them. They're a child of your confused mind, let's say, like that, okay? And the thing is, they're also like your sibling. They're also like your sibling, because beneath what you see of them is how they really are, and they're not separate from you. So it's like they're showing you what it is that you're holding against yourself, that you're using to make yourself out to be a person in a world instead of living in your creative reality. So the distraction of this world is to try to get to your creative reality in this world, when that's not what it's for at all. It's strictly for seeing through it. It's for seeing through it. This world, it's like a mist. It's going to just evaporate and reveal what's always been here. So it's a misuse of time. It's a misuse of the illusion of time, which is for healing, to use it for something else, to use it, for instance, for trying to get your ideal partner, or trying to become successful, or anything like that. Just any kind of trying or seeking or anything like that. These kinds of things may be manifesting and unfolding. There doesn't need to be any kind of effort, because it's done for you. It's all being done for you. See? So if you find yourself efforting, it's not as if you have to stop efforting. It's asking, all that's being asked is for you to kind of like just give a little nod to God. Oh yeah, this is really being done for me. It's okay to perceive yourself as if you're trying for something. See, because that's not you, that's on the surface. It's when you identify with that kind of trying, you identify with that kind of effort, even trying to be more spiritual or anything like that. It's when you identify with that it makes you into this limited thing. It takes away from you being who you are. It takes your focus away from seeing through the veil, and has you putting it on the veil, and sort of like trying to improve the veil and making it a nicer veil that blocks you from seeing what you really are. See? And the beautiful thing about that is that it always leads to suffering, which always brings you back. Hence that one verse in the Bible that says, "Thy rod and thy staff, they strengthen me," or is it they comfort me? Either way, it's great. It's great. That's the gift. It's like, hooray. I always feel so grateful when I feel any kind of emotional pain or struggle or anything like that. I feel so grateful, even if I have the perception of myself playing something out, because I know in the playing it out and through the playing it out, I'm going to see even more. I'm going to see how to love even deeper. And it's like, it's always, when something's playing out like that, it's always holding someone as guilty. It's always holding someone as guilty. Yourself, other people, both. It could be, it always comes back to it being about yourself. It's a thought about yourself. See? So the projected self is even made guilty, but it's a thought about yourself, about who you are, about what you've done, in that belief that you've actually separated yourself from reality, and you've actually modified yourself from truth. You're not able to modify yourself from truth. That's not possible. So since that didn't happen, anything that arises that tries to represent that it happened, you can choose to see through that. You can choose to see through that. Yes, it is a bypassing of sort. It is a bypassing of sort. I will bypass anything that speaks to fear being real. I will bypass anything that speaks to separation being true. Yes, totally. Totally. Because it's not. It's not real and true. When you're willing to bypass in that way, it'll get undone for you. Letting it be undone. It's not real and true. That means you're not pushing anything away. That means you're not resisting anyone. That means you're not arguing even with anyone. If someone has a different point of view, you're just okay with that. There's not anyone there, that's why. The world is an illusion, that's why. That can't be said enough. Because it seems like no matter how many times it's said, the illusion will show itself a certain way and all of a sudden it'll just be taken as true. Not. And there's no choice in it either. There's no choice in what you find yourself doing in the illusion. What dress you wore today, how you did your hair, whether you brushed your teeth, whether you ever got out of bed, how you behaved. You didn't have a choice in that. That's a manifestation of your real choice. It's all a manifestation of your real choice. The choice between truth and illusion. Having chosen illusion, having initially made a choice for illusion because of fear that you separated yourself from reality and now you're deserving of punishment, having chosen the illusion and then having perceived the illusion and choosing it again over and over and over again, it probably seems really real to you now. And when it comes up in certain ways, it seems like it's really real. Oh, this is getting real now. But that doesn't change the fact that you made it up. So it takes right now being willing to know that you made it up. Being willing to see through this reality that you've made that's coming together with thoughts and feelings that feel so real. There's no feeling you can go after in the world that's going to satisfy you. Any feeling, it's only so temporary. Because it's through the body. And it seems like it's by the body, like you need the body to get that. But when you feel who you are, you know you don't even need the body for that. You don't even need a body for that. And then you can just let it go. Let the world just spin, spin, spin. Some people say it's not spinning. Whatever. Doesn't matter. We use the spin metaphorically, okay, Chitta?
Well, flat Earth, the universe spins around us.
Okay. Flat Earth theory is the universe spins around us. And in case anyone wants to know what I think about that, it's all true and it's all false. Flat, round, whatever. You could just let these stories, let's say it like this. It's not as if it's spinning. Let these stories, because the world is basically a story. This is the earth. The earth is basically a story. It's like a body, like this body that you're perceiving. If you're watching me on video right now, it is a story. And the earth is a story. Okay, so these stories are spinning. You could say the world is spinning, 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 spinning. Let it spin into oblivion.
Well, they say the world isn't composed of atoms, it's composed of stories. Not composed of matter, but composed of music.
Yes, more like music.
So life is just one big song and dance.
Yes. Yes, and it's like it's just spinning around. You can just let it spin around. It's, just to spin, 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 spin until there's no more spin to it, and you don't have to put any more spin on it. That's the thing. It's like it's almost like you drop right out of it. But in your relating, you're so in it because you're in love. And that's what we all know. That's what we all identify with. That's why we can all connect with that. You just love, loving kindness. I got the hand of Yulia. By the way, anyone wants to speak with me, feel free to raise your hand. I have Yulia on now. Yulia, you've been promoted to panelist.
And I'm trying to unmute myself and show myself on the video.
Yeah, girl. I see.
Yeah, I finally did that.
Very nice.
Yay. Good to be here again.
Yes. Oh, hold on just a sec, because I saw something. Moksha, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I'll get it one of these days. What about Jesus and the mystics? How did they show an example of this? Jesus and the mystics. I need to know what you're talking about there. I don't remember what I was talking about. That's why. So follow up to that. Follow that up to that. Moksha. Follow up to that, and then I'll answer you. And I'm going to go to Yulia now. Yay, Yulia.
Hey. So yeah, today I was having exactly the experience of being lost in the illusion and the perception, and feeling like I'm lost in the illusion and the perception.
Hey, good.
Totally lost it.
You lost it, you say?
Yes.
Oh, how fun. What happened? Or what seemed to have happened?
What seems to be happening is always the same. It's always my children.
It's always the same, no matter what label you put on it. Anyway.
That's true, but it seems to be the same label too.
Yeah.
So my 22-year-old son, who always apparently had problems, like depression, this, that, quitting school, quitting work.
Making that stuff a problem.
Right. A lot of things that are supposedly a problem, but
who is making it a problem? Who's having a problem with it?
I'm supposed to be. The answer is supposed to be me. I know.
Well, I don't know. Is it?
But I'm having him in my perception.
No, I'm asking. No, I'm asking you really.
It depends. It depends on what moment that's in.
It depends on what moment it's in. Okay,
right.
So right now, when you're talking about it, basically, when you're talking about it, you're having.
I'm making it a problem. Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Just wanted to clarify that real fast.
Yes. What I've also made into a problem, I'll say that right away, is that he's been living with me, and I wanted him to get a job or go study, and he confirms that he does, and he won't do any of it. He just says, "Oh yeah, I'll do it," and then weeks go by, then months go by, and then half a year goes by, and it's like that with almost everything. Like, I ask him, "Can you please clean your bathroom? Can you please do that?" And it's like, it never ever happens. And then I tell myself, and I go back and forth between doing something and not doing something.
Okay.
Which I understand doesn't matter because I have no control over it. And I get judged. I judge myself, and I get judged for whether I do something or don't do something, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What happened today is I kind of felt like I want to come up and talk to him. Friendly talk, and I got up into his room, and he got we have these moments sometimes where I just like walk up to him, "Hey, I want to talk to you," and like, "Hey, how are you?" And he goes, "What do you want from me? What do you want from me? Get away from me. What, you want to talk? Talk, so talk," So I got into that pride that yelled at him. I told him, "Fuck you. If you hate me so much, get out of here." And then the flip side of that, I start feeling bad.
Perfect.
For doing that. But
so you see how it's just energies playing.
Vicious circle,
Yeah,
and,
so he's asking you gave kind of like wrote a script to him, asking him to get that rise out of you.
And then I managed to complain to my boyfriend about it, and he's like unhappy with it because he says, "Look, I know I love him, you love him, but he doesn't respect anybody here." And I like immediately remember everything I know about respect in terms of unschooling for parents and all that.
Yeah.
And I want to say, look, I don't care but then the next time it happens, I'm probably gonna, I might complain again, or I'm the one who complained. And no, I'm not enjoying it when apparent disrespect happens,
Yeah.
and when, especially when it's so extreme. So I feel so caught up in everything, and I judge myself and judge everything every step of the way.
Yeah, and at any moment you can make another choice. At any moment, that's why you're making this thing for yourself. That's why you're giving him that script to read that to you, to make it intense like that for you, because at any moment, he's coming to you with a gift of salvation every single time. But you're refusing to see that it is a gift of salvation. When you go up there and you say you want to talk to him and he responds like that, he is you basically asking for love right there. He is you. It's not outside of yourself at all. He's mirroring yourself. So there could be a complete surrender and like an opening up to that, and just letting him have that expression, just allowing him to have that expression. The reason there is not the allowing of having for him to have the expression is for fear of what you will find if you just allow that. So like a fear of like, am I going to lose myself? Am I going to lose my boundaries? Am I going to lose my personhood here? It's like, and that's a real egoic fear. It's really asking for you. It's you asking for yourself to allow compassion for yourself right there. Can you imagine? Can you put yourself into? Can you just imagine yourself in a situation where your son is saying, "What the fuck do you want? What the fuck do you want?" And you are able to take a deep breath and feel compassion right there. Can you imagine that for yourself?
Yeah.
Just right now.
I always feel it afterwards.
Just right now, because that's healing right now. Even if you notice afterwards, and here's something that comes up afterwards too. It's the feeling bad for what you think you've done. You haven't done anything. You have not done anything. You didn't.
And also in the moment when it was happening, it was so intense and so apparently hateful, and he was pushing me away, just walked up close.
Right.
And, I couldn't help but cry. And then I get ashamed that I'm crying, or it's weird, like I feel so weak.
I know the feeling. I used to be that kind of mom too.
Mm-hmm.
I know that feeling.
Like I'm helpless. I'm not.
Yeah, it's like you're helpless. That's
no,
exactly
I'm like
right.
this. I'm this. I don't know what I am. Just like I can't even have a conversation with my kid. He does whatever he wants to.
You took it real. You took
No,
it.
he's not even a kid. He's a bearded dude.
Right.
Pushing me and yelling at me, and all I can do is cry and then yell at him. But nothing.
And then he continues to be around you. You see, because you guys have healing to do together. There's no way he's going to be drawn together with you. This is not your choice. This is not your choice whether you're with him. There's no way he's going to be drawn together with you unless you have healing to do together. So he's giving you so many opportunities over and over again, even way past the age of 18, to keep on bringing this up for you because you haven't seen through it yet, and you really want to. You really want to just be able to go to love in that, right in that moment. And even right now, as in it's in retrospect, and you have this sense as if you have done something wrong. It's also compassionate, and it's also very healing to recognize, be willing to recognize that you're making up the sense of remorse too. You're really making this up. Nothing happened. But it's setting you up so you could have that kind of gift and experience of allowing love in the midst of that kind of confusion.
What else is also happening is it seems like being loving means I have to give money. I can't have to not allow myself to demand something, or I don't know, not demand something, but say, hey, you've got to clean this bathroom or I'm going to clean it.
Well, that's all surface. That's all
or
surface.
not wanting it or whatever, or judge myself for wanting to have, not have a stinky bathroom in there.
Yep. That's why you keep having it.
it's like, then I start asking, like, why am I not allowed, you know?
Because you're not allowing it for yourself. Because you think that being loving has something to do with the surface. It has nothing to do with what's arising on the surface. Being loving is basically allowing compassion for yourself. See, when he's showing you that kind of representation, even when you think of him not cleaning something, there's a feeling associated with that. You just let yourself get that feeling. You let yourself get that feeling, and you could find yourself doing anything. You don't need to see. That's what I mean on seeking on the surface. Like, how do I get that bathroom to be clean so I could be more comfortable? It's not the bathroom being clean that is going to make you more comfortable. It's allowing that compassion for yourself right now that's going to make you feel so good that you'll be able to express whatever you need to express for your bathroom to get clean too. You can't even help it. It's like math that way. It's like a mathematical equation being worked out. It's just that you keep on adding to these things that you perceive as if something is wrong and something's wrong with you. So you keep on adding on to them over and over again. You saw I wrote about this kind of thing quite a bit in my book, where, I would get these kind of like these challenging things for my kid. What? And when I would just stop and look, instead of just react right away, stop and look, I would recognize that demonstration, that whole perception is coming from my body's energy field. It's coming from me and being projected outward. It's not like the other way around. It's not out coming in. So you'll stop and look what kind of thoughts are coming to you. Watch the racing and everything like that. Feel with him. Because he's also feeling upset and confused. Obviously, wouldn't be able to talk like that. It's hard.
It's basically, it's like he's living with me, but I hardly ever see him, or I hardly ever talk to him. So it's like, I want to talk to him, and that's the result. We're like kind of like together, but not really very much together.
People ask me if I just go in my kids' room and talk to them, and I said, well, I feel out the energy. I could tell if they want to talk to me or not.
Well, then it's pretty much
with my agenda.
No, he never wants to talk.
Yeah. Well, and that's because you have an agenda. He feels that. He feels that you have an agenda.
Yeah, I can't help it.
Yeah. Well,
that's what Goda was feeling the other week. She was afraid to go home and have her mom come in the room and start lecturing her.
Can you hear Bob?
A little, yeah.
A little bit. Okay, talk a little bit louder.
Oh yeah. So a couple weeks ago, Goda Sativa, she's been hiking the Pacific Coast.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And now she's expecting to go home and be in her room, and her mother coming in to lecture her about, are you going to get a job? What are you going to do? And asking Hope, how do I deal with this mother that's going to come and be overbearing and get on my case? so then she's coming from the other end of the problem that you're the mother wanting to get the kid to do something, and she's the kid
who wants to have 20-something-year-old kids, and who's supporting her 24-year-something kid, 220-something kids.
Yeah, and it's not like you have to support him, or it's not even like you can support him. You're not even capable of supporting him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like that. It's not knowing where your support is actually coming from, and all the support. You have all the support for healing, for undoing the mind, and that's all it's for. So when you sense that you want your kid to clean your room, you could ask, what is this for? What is this for, really? But you go into story, you're like, I should have that done. And then you go and want to talk to your kid out of that energy, and he could feel that. He's sensing that before you show up, before you probably even make the decision to go over there and talk to him. He's already sensing that. So, like when it comes to my kids, if I feel like I'm about ready to walk through the house and tell them that I want them to do something, I'll just take a breath. I'll be like, wait a minute, where is that going? That's going nowhere good. That's going nowhere good.
I just had this thought creep up. So like, as long as I want them to get a job, they will never get a job.
It's very likely. It's very likely. But you know, it's okay. It's okay if you don't find yourself financially supporting them. It's totally okay. It's just the same as you finding yourself supporting them financially. Let yourself be open to whatever it is. Let yourself be open to what it is. See? And then you'll just be able to communicate it, but you'll be able to communicate it not from a victimized standpoint. You know, it's like, hey, I really feel like you would benefit from this. And I really feel like you being out on your own would really like allow you to blossom and flower. And I am super stoked for you. You know, I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience on that one.
What, your daughter?
Yeah.
And then I have a story. I am very depressed and I'm very sick and I'm barely alive and you're making me get a job or study, you know.
It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's good. Everything's all right. I love you. You're awesome. Don't buy into stories like that. If you're gonna buy into stories like that, that's the same as making sickness real. It doesn't matter what it appears to be. It's not like that. It's not like that.
I dare to say that I don't believe that there is depression. There's gonna be mad, you know, my son is gonna mock me and
You don't have to tell him. You don't have to
cruel
tell.
person.
You don't have to tell your son that. Just let him know it's okay, and this is what's going down right now, and I love you. See? But you can't do that. You cannot do that until you've accepted for yourself that it's okay. It really is okay. See, there seems to be a problem. As long as there seems to be a problem, it's like you're held to a certain situation.
Yeah, it just all hurts.
It's a game that's being played.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game that gets played. I saw that go on with myself in my situation with my daughter. Finally, I said, you know what? That's enough. That's enough. Oh, you're just gonna kick me when I'm down, and the whole story like that. And I go, I understand why you would see it that way, baby. But I could tell that, you know, this is exactly what's necessary. This is the way I'm being guided right now. And because of that, I know that it's going to be awesome. And I know that you're awesome. And I know it's perfect for you. You don't have to budge from that. You don't have to budge from that. It is awesome. Nothing is going wrong at any time. This idea that you can harm another person. See, do you see how that's being presented? And it's not helping anyone to play along with that. It's not helping anyone to play along with that.
I also have so much fear that whatever, you know, that I'll do something that will be wrong or that it will not be okay, basically.
Well, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? Doership.
Right.
It's always coming down to that, the most basic doership again.
Yeah.
And it's like, honey, I'm not doing anything. I love you. I'm sure this is moving in the direction for showing you the way out, showing you the way through that, seeing through that depression thing. It's not for me anymore. Thank you. I love you. It's easy. It's easy and it's glorious. And you know what the thing is that it's done for you when you allow the compassion for yourself. That compassion for yourself shows you that you cannot possibly get it wrong. In that, it just shows you that you could not possibly get it wrong. And then you don't have to, you don't have to have that suffering thing going on constantly. It's like whatever it is that seems to be arising right now, it's awesome. And that's the way I look at it, you know. Whatever it is, I know it's awesome. I know it's awesome. And then it'll come to a point that'll allow it to come to a point to where something else awesome manifests. And it's different. All of a sudden it's different. All of a sudden I'm changing, apparently. But that's because I never have changed. I keep on just, on the surface being moved back to reality. So these expressions of being able to just cut off anything that's not serving is natural. It's just natural.
And now I feel like I've tangled myself because I dragged my boyfriend into it.
There's nothing that happened though.
And now he's angry, and now he's frustrated at him, and it's like, and I
When
did,
will you drop
and
it
I
all?
did that, you know.
When will you drop it all?
Sure, I would love to now.
Right now is a fine time to make that decision.
Right.
You know, there is only now. Nothing happened before. It's not like cause and effect are real. It's not like whatever you went through before is affecting you now. That's not true. You're projecting it now. At any moment, you can make another choice to just be with what's here now and accept the compassion for yourself now. Not making the past, holding up the past as if it's real, as if you did something before. Okay, I'm going on to this one now.
Thank you, Hope.
I love you. Thank you
Love you
too,
too.
Julia.
Thank you.
I meant if they realized this world of illusion, the Christ, and how did they deal with it? They just look right through this. I mean, this is basically the message that I'm sharing right now is the message that I get from Jesus, okay? You know, or you could say Jesus is just a name from Christ, you could say. It's Christ consciousness. Is that it's basically just willingness to see through it, seeing that it's all one thing. There's nothing that is different in it. You know, like you see a sick body and a healthy body, there's no difference. There's no difference because neither of them even exist. And that's why it allows things to return, allows things to go back to the source, back to the source where they came from. It's this idea that there are different things and there are different varying degrees of levels and cycles and, like, you know, healing things that the body has to go through. It's not true. There's not even any sickness or anything like that. Everything that you perceive in the world is a demonstration of a sick mind. So, you know, they're looking through, and that's exactly, you know, what the story is. Like Jesus the Christ on the cross is seeing the face of Christ within everyone. Even those who seem to have strung him up, even those who have seemed to put nails in or slice him or anything, he is seeing the face of Christ within everyone. And that's why it's demonstrated through resurrection, through his resurrection. It's just demonstrated that way because there's nothing holding him to the world. There's nothing that can make it seem as if he's even confined in a body anymore. You notice how in that story too, there's no body. There's no body left over. It's sort of like this vapor, this spirit coming up, okay? I also have another question. If we made up our children in all these situations with them, or so we can dissolve the lie of separation and return to love, what happens if when they grow up and move on and the drama stops? Because now here we understand the unschooling concept. Does that mean we finally get it? Or we have to relive that lesson in another lifetime? Well, you know what? The thing is, once you get it completely, and by get it, okay, there's one thing to get an understanding about it and to understand the concepts, okay? That's one thing. That's like, you could say that's readiness for it, what you're calling it. What you're calling it is really the undoing of all the guilt in the mind. When all of the guilt in the mind is undone, there is no world as you perceive it now. You cannot conceive of it. And in fact, to the ego, it would seem really terrible to get rid of this world because that means you even get rid of all of the bodies. But I'm telling you, once the veil is lifted and you see what you cannot conceive of now, you'll know for yourself that that was completely meaningless. And as soon as you know that, it's totally forgotten because you're already with all of your loved ones. You're already with your loved ones, okay? I feel I totally messed up when raising my kids and can totally relate to the conversation. You cannot mess up. I know that's just a feeling. That's an ego feeling, okay? So the feeling like you messed up is right now. There's no past. So it's right now, the feeling like you messed up, that's arising right now. It's arising so that you can see what you're holding against yourself. Basically, you're holding against yourself a thought that says that you're capable of messing up and that you have. That's just a repeat. That's a repeat of the thought that you separated yourself from God and reality. That's a repeat of the thought that you separated yourself from heaven. Okay, you messed up. That's all it is. It's not true. Nothing happened. No one is separate. No one has ever left heaven. It's a dream. It's a dream, okay? But most recently, all I see is love and compassion toward my adult kids as I see the truth that they are also me. So in that understanding, there is no more pain now, but in the past there was. There is no past. If the pain is healed now, it's healed. That's it. Not sure if I'm making myself clear. Well, you seem clear to me, but I may be completely misunderstanding you. So you can go ahead and write some more if you want, or you can even come on and talk with me. But it seems like you are clear. If you are seeing them as yourself, and then there's just love and compassion between you now, the past has no effect. The past has no effect. The past never even occurred. The only way the past does have an effect is if you bring it into now and make it meaningful. Okay? So when you say, I feel like I've screwed up, and you take that as if that thought can possibly be meaningful, in the moment you're creating, or I could say you're making up dis-ease for yourself. So in the moment you're giving effects to the past, but you're still only doing that now. Okay? In other words, are the opportunities to heal your own illusions come when your kids are young, or is it irrelevant? It is totally irrelevant. Totally irrelevant. Did I miss the train to heal? And and now grandkids will bring forth the wrath. That's a good one. If you say so. See? If you say so. It's up to you. Did you? Did you? Did the past really happen? Do you deserve punishment? Do you? See? There's no wrath. There's no wrath of God. There's no wrath from anyone. And everyone's coming to show you the balance of your thoughts. So it's like, did you? Did you mess up? Do you deserve punishment? That's up to you. That's not up to anyone else. Yay. That's the healing. It's just now. It's really, really simple, you see? It's so simple. Even the question, did I screw up? There's no justification for that question at all. There is no justification for it. Just like there's no justification for an upset feeling. When you see that there's no justification for it right now, that's the healing. You could even be playing it out. Yay, I'm glad you're celebrating. You could even be playing it out. Yeah, thank you too. I love you. You could even be acting like, oh God, you could be crying like this. You'd be like, oh God, I hate the way I was before. I was such a terrible parent. And behind all of that, you could be recognizing that you're acting, you're performing. Whenever it seems as if you've made a mistake, you're acting as if you made a mistake, you are acting. You are putting on a performance. It's like your boss told you, hey, Hope, yeah, you really screwed that thing up. Oh, I did? Oh, fuck, I'm sorry. Oh my God. You're acting. Nothing happened. Nothing really happened. The act is just to appease a person. Nothing happened. It's okay if you find yourself acting. I find myself acting sometimes. I find myself acting. It's freaking funny. It's freaking funny. I thought someone was screwing me over illegally this past week in a legal sense. With legal documents and shit like that. And I even found myself saying, every legal bone in my body tells me this is wrong. But behind that, I see that. And that's why it can't carry forth any effects for me. It can't carry forth any kind of negative effects because I see that. If it's not seen, it's going underneath the surface. That's where it's making effects. It's always making effects now because it's not seen now. It's not being recognized now. Okay? So as soon as you recognize it, even if you seem to be playing part of it out, it's still getting healed. And it's up to you whether it's been healed or not. It's either all healing or it's all a fuck up and you're deserving of karma. Okay? There's no such thing as karma. That's a make-believe thing to make guilty. Okay? It's not like that. You could say, karma takes into account a past, a present, and a future. How could there be karma if there's no past? How could there be? There's not. There's no such thing as karma. That's made up. That's make-believe. It's what I'm not seeing now that's making me confused, upset, worried, any of that stuff. It's what I'm not seeing now. But what the ego will say, it's what you're seeing now that's making you like this. It's what you're seeing now that's making you feel like this. Like maybe that kid is disrespecting you. That adult kid is disrespecting you. Okay. So it's what you're seeing right now. What you're seeing right now is a trick. It's a trick of the imagination to make it seem as if what you're seeing on the surface is causing the upset. But no, that is not where it's coming from. It's just a projection. It's just a projection. And in every instant, you have the opportunity to choose again, and you are choosing again. For the most part, most of us are just choosing the exact same thing over and over again. We're just choosing the fear. See someone not want to talk to you, for instance. Be like, what do you want? What the fuck do you want? The knee-jerk reaction is to go into fear. This is wrong. Oh my God, what did I get myself into? But the spirit is whispering. You got to listen closer to it. You got to listen to the spirit. Spirit is listening. Take it all in. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. It's not that it's beautiful as you need to paint something ugly as if it's beautiful. It's beautiful in that it's showing you exactly what it is that you're holding against yourself so you can receive your compassion. You could say God's compassion if you need it to be said in the form of other. There is no other. You're not one bit separate from God. But, to say that you are God to the ego kind of like, flares the ego all up. And then the ego likes to go, oh, I'm God. Okay, I'm going to make this world the way I want it to be because as far as I'm concerned, this world is heaven. Actually, this world where you perceive separation and stuff like that, it is all that can be hell. It's all that can be hell. And you making it real makes it hell. You using it as a device, what it's for bringing you closer to God. And you get closer to God by getting closer to one another, by the way. And you can get closer to one another even as you're saying, sorry, son, but you're not living here anymore, and I love you. First of the month, you're gone, and I love you.
I have a question.
Yes.
You say it's showing you what you're holding against yourself.
Right. That's right.
I don't exactly understand what that means. Like,
okay.
Does that mean I'm holding something particular against myself and that is showing in a specific form, or what does that mean?
Well, take it all as general because it's all generally representing the thought that you separated yourself from reality. But you can see what you're holding against yourself right away. It's like right there because as soon as your son's gone, rah, like that, you're getting a sense inside of you that you're resisting, and that's why you're reacting. That's what's making you react. You're resisting that sense inside of you. There's a fearful sense. Instead of embracing, it's almost like a surrender. It's almost like you open up and let that whole sense envelop you and love right through it. It's like this compassion comes right through it, and you can let your son have his thing. He can let him have whatever he wants to say to you. He can be calling you a fucking dumb bitch. He can be pushing you around or anything. you might get I have had the sense before where it's like something shocking, and I'll be, and then, and still be able to smile and watch it unfold. It's fascinating to watch how it just unfolds from there. It's fascinating to watch how it unfolds without you tangling your energy up in it. Even go ahead.
So this feeling when you're crying and you're feeling like, oh, what's happening, is that what it means? You're holding that something against yourself, or?
Well, in order to make the manifestation of you crying, you have to be resisting an energy. So it's like you're resisting an energy, and resisting an energy is symbolic of you're resisting a thought because you think it could be really true about yourself. So as the resistance is watched, okay? I'm just going to say as the resistance is watched, as you watch yourself resist the energy, the resisting of this energy arising, okay? It's like an energetic field in your energy body arising, and it feels like it's, oh, I don't want to go here, and it feels painful, and it's almost like you're energetically pushing against it, and that's what's causing you to act out, because you're pushing against that energy. So as you surrender and release that resistance, you get the release from it, you're going to see the thought. You'll probably start to see specific thoughts. It's not necessary, but you probably will start to see specific thoughts. Oh, like I will get some ahas like, oh, no wonder he's treating me like that. That is fucking great. That's how I'm treating myself. I see that.
It's kind of like I'm afraid of feeling like or like I believe I can be weak and humiliated, and this little, person that is can't something, right?
Yeah, you'll see it. You'll start to see it. Don't go after it. Don't go after it like that.
But it's basically, that's the direction that means that you're believing something about yourself that's painful,
and it'll likely show you how it's playing out in very specific scenarios, just the way you're permitting your mind to go when you have particular perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the way you're permitting your mind to go. You're permitting it to, basically this insanity is just permitting the mind to wander through the caverns of separation in all these different ways about how it's making us separate and small and limited. And it comes up in very specific situations and scenarios that are played out over and over and over again. And different scenarios seem to play out and specifically for different people. So you have the thing going with the sun, and it's awesome. It's beautiful. It could be anything. It happens to be with your son. And, it's really opening you guys up for a healing where you can actually connect.
I do have a question again. Sorry. This seems to be,
please do.
This seems to be about the surface things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you speak like, oh, I could tell to my son, daughter, whatever, like, sorry, you don't live here starting from the 1st of such month.
You could find yourself saying something.
Right, but I immediately have this thought like, so what? But he's not going to go anywhere, and I'm not going to go like physically push him out.
Is anything possible though? Are you willing to receive guidance without arguing with it? And I'm not saying receive guidance from me or take.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'm saying, are you willing to receive guidance? Because notice how you'll automatically come up with some kind of argument. Anything that says yeah, but, and goes on from there. That's an argument, So if you're making an argument real, it's like you're just saying right now, I'm not willing to go along with any guidance that would guide me in that direction. You don't know how it would turn out if you're actually, you're being led by spirit, and spirit is doing it for you. You really don't know how it would turn out. Are you willing to be open to that?
How do I know if spirit is leading me? Because everything is my thoughts.
Because it feels like love and bliss and acceptance and peace and serenity.
So as long as it doesn't feel that way, there is no guidance.
You're not getting the guidance, right? You're getting the ego's guidance. When you're marching over to your son's room thinking that you would like that connection, and there's an attachment to it, you're coming from an ego guidance. You know, you have an underlying agenda to get him to do something when there's nothing that can be done. There isn't a house, there isn't a bathroom, there isn't any of those things. But all of those things get taken care of through love, because love is the only thing that's real.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's like lack of trust that all of those things will be taken care of on their own. And it's feeling like the feeling is like you have to somehow do it. You have to somehow make it manifest. You have to somehow get what you deserve for yourself.
Yes, but on the other hand, if it's like, sometimes I do something and judge myself, so it's like, why can't I do something without judging myself for doing it?
Well, right now you could get the compassion for yourself right now. You could be willing to accept it for that particular thought right now. Why can't I? Exactly. There it is. There's the joker right there. Why can't I is the joke.
Like, should I be judging the whatever I apparently did, like, that I apparently marched there and asked him to do something?
Of course not.
That innocent too.
Nothing happened.
Right.
Your projection of it, even right now is for healing. Even right now, your projection of it right now is for healing. You know, what my experience has been like, if I'm dealing with a projection like that for something like that, I will allow myself to imagine what it would be like to go exactly the way I would like it to go. The way I think I would like it to go. Just like because it's allowing myself to get that feeling of compassion. It's allowing myself to get that feeling of compassion. And then I don't need it to manifest on the surface because I've already got the feeling.
Ah, I see. Like sort of in the manifesting things, yes.
Right, because you're not going about all needy. You're not going around all needy now because you already got that. You already got the feeling. You've allowed the compassion for yourself. You have the feeling. You go in there having it all and actually looking for connection with your son. And if your son isn't into connecting, that's great. That's the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That's exactly the connection I was looking for. So thank you very much.
How is?
I heard about what a terrible person I am from my daughter, and it was just like it was just wonderful. Like, oh, thank you, because that's how we're connecting right now. That's how we're connecting. That's how we're bringing forth any kind of painful anything up right now, and it's beautiful. And it's just like blows by so fast, and it changes so fast. You'll be astonished and amazed to watch how these things unfold just beautifully. Because it's like, oh, thank you for letting me know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, unless I have anyone asking me any more questions, I am going to shut her down, so to speak. Shut down this chatter mouth right here.
So grateful for that chatter mouth, Keep chatting, please.
Chitty chitty chat chat.
It's the chatter brain that gets us into trouble.
Good one, Bob, right?
Yep. Okay, I see people that want to get on with me. I got you. Okay, you're coming on. Yeah, I'm going to just put you right on the camera because I know you're not shy. This is my friend Urba. My sweet friend Urba, my beach buddy, one of my beach buddies. You're coming on any second. You might have to unmute yourself and put your camera on. You're unmuted from my end, but not from yours. There you are, you're unmuted. And here comes your camera too.
Hello. Okay.
Yay.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you're black, not like a black. Oh, there we go.
All
All
right.
right.
Glad
Nice to
be
see you.
here. Yay. Well, thanks for including me. So Hope, you were talking earlier on about communication and language.
Uh-huh.
Do you mind if I switch to that a little bit?
Not at all. Go right ahead.
Okay, because yeah, I heard you talking about this yesterday too a little bit, and so it seems like you're talking about nonviolent communication or compassionate communication.
Okay, there
Am I
might
right?
be some words for those like that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I'm really fascinated that you're talking about that because yeah, I used to teach that, and
Okay.
it's been a big part of my life.
How awesome.
And I want to run some stuff by you to see, yeah, to see what you think about it, if that's
Wonderful.
cool.
Wonderful. I love it.
Because I've come to a similar conclusion that this talk of needs can be something that just like force, it reinforces a mistake in who we take ourselves to be,
Mhm.
essentially. To sort of like grasp onto parts of our ego and trying to get other people to give us what we want.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, does
Oh,
that
yeah. Yeah.
resonate?
Totally. Totally.
Yeah. So I also though value some aspects of it, and I thought about this a lot about how to change it to be actually honest to the truth,
Okay.
I guess you could say.
Okay.
And so some of the things I came up with is to not to say like you were talking about sex before, and like maybe someone could say in that version of things, like I'm disappointed because I need sexual expression, you know, when you're saying something to me and I'm hearing that and I'm disappointed, you know,
Uh-huh.
or I'm hurt or I'm heartbroken. You
Yeah.
mentioned heartbreak, right?
Sure.
Before.
Yeah.
So there's that need because I need sex or I need
Okay.
sexual expression, right? Well, the way I would change it to be actually like honest, because I may find myself wanting to communicate about it, but to use that tool to actually like remind me of the truth. And so I might say, I'm disappointed because I'm grasping on to the part of me that is craving for sex. Does that make any sense?
That makes it way more
that-
honest, because then it's not saying that anyone is capable of harming you. You see how that makes you a victim if someone's capable of harming you? Like, I'm disappointed because, you know, like, you're not putting out. Like, so now that makes me disappointed. Is this making you disappointed yet? Can I do something else to make you disappointed? And just the idea that you have needs really makes you into this limited thing, you know. And sex is just, it's one of those things that's a huge blinder for people, because it seems to be like a need. It seems to be like a real need. And now that it seems like, at least in, you know, in our country, in the United States, our apparent need for, it's still also an apparent need for food and water is met. Now we come up with something else. Oh, but then I need sex too. You know, and then if you're like having sex all the time, then you need something else. It's just another need's gonna pop up, as long as you take needs to be true, you know. And that's what the whole illusion is meant to show you, that you have needs that are not being met, because that's what upholds this guilt that you're projecting for yourself. And, you know, without that guilty self-conscious, without that guilty idea about yourself, you're awake in heaven. You're not perceiving a world of separation.
Yeah, so then I've studied nonviolent communication, and their premise is observations, feelings, needs, and requests. So you see an objective observation of something, you bring up the feeling that it evokes, and then that evokes a need, and then you request the need. And so they say, well, if it's a negative situation, that means the need isn't being met. If it's a positive situation, that means the need is being met. So it's all kind of based on this need concept.
It's very materialistic. Not that any of those methods are a bad thing or anything. It's meeting people where they are. That's meeting people where they are. They believe that they have needs, and it's showing them another way, and it's a step along the path. At the same time, you know, if you want to go all the way, which I'm guessing that you do, just because I've been around you a little bit, if you want to go all the way to, completely undoing the illusion of separation, you're willing to see through the idea that anyone can ever have any needs. That anyone can ever have any needs. Okay? And when you're seeing through the idea that anyone can have any needs, you're not going to speak in those terms. You're not even going to find yourself speaking in those terms. Or if you do find yourself speaking in those terms, you're very aware of it. And you're not using it as sort of like a weapon. See? And it is using it like a weapon because there's an underlying agenda to get a body to do what you think it should do to get you the comfort that you think you need, in whatever form that is. See? And it's a beautiful thing. There's not any, like I said, there's not any problem with any of these methods of communication or anything like that. It's just that you get to a certain point where you actually just want to see through the illusion. You don't want to get your needs met, so to speak. That's how it came up for me with my husband. My husband's always been such a sweetie. It's like, I'd be like, yeah, I don't like you like that. I want you to change to like this. And you go, okay, I'll start doing it like that. When I say this, I don't want you to say this. I want you to do it like that. And he'd go, okay, all right, I'll do it like that. And he'd always just do it the way I wanted him to do it. And I was like, at one point, wait a minute, I don't want this. I just want natural. I'm going to stop asking him for stuff like that. And just let it all be natural. Stop asking him to change his ways. Stop asking him to change himself. And just let it be completely the way that it's shown to me. Because whatever way that it's shown to me, it's shown to me is exactly what I need. So if I'm making up a need that's not being met, that's like saying the gift that's being given me right now, I don't want it. I don't want this gift of awareness. I'd rather keep the illusion going by making it as if I have needs right now. I have these separate needs that are not being met right now. And that's where we make suffering for ourselves. And if you want evidence of it, look around. Look around. Look at the conflict that's being made from this. Okay? Unhappiness, conflict. I was at this one thing right before. It was actually for A Course in Miracles. I wasn't so familiar with A Course in Miracles at that time. I'm not even sure if I had started reading it. I may not have. I don't think I did. I don't think I even cracked the book open yet. But there was this place up in Leilani, and they had a silent retreat, and I was drawn to a silent retreat. So I went there for a 2-day silent retreat, and it was beautiful. It was my first time having a silent retreat. It was maybe a day and a half into it. We all ate together at the same table. And then all of a sudden, someone starts talking, but not only talking, expressing an emotion as if someone else at the table did something, but in that same kind of way. When I saw you do this, it made me like this. No, that's not true. That's not true. I didn't say anything. I was just staying silent. I was like, okay, this will blow over. Silence will come back. But it's like, that is not true. And that's why the silence needed to be broken, to say something that wasn't even true. It's just to try to spread guilt around. It's just an attempt to try to spread guilt around. It's not true at all. But the way that the training was going on here, and to me, it's not in alignment with A Course in Miracles. Now that I've read the thing and done the course a couple times, it's not even in alignment with it at all to express something as if someone did something to you. But, of course, if you find yourself expressing something like that, it's okay, of course. But what the Course is pointing to is recognizing that what you're saying, what you're speaking, when you're speaking like that, it's a total illusion. It is absolutely meaningless, doing nothing at all and having no effects at all. Doing absolutely nothing. Pretty much wasting time in the illusion of time instead of using it for healing. So at the end of this 2-day thing, once we started talking again, the leader of it, wanted to go on a walk with me. So
Is that David Hoffmeister?
oh, I never met the main leader. It was just the leader of that particular house.
Oh,
I guess the main leader dude is like has a bunch of different houses where people are doing things. I didn't realize it. It was definitely a cult. I could tell once I was in there. And what do I mean by cult? It's just like a charismatic leader. You give all your shit to them and you do what they say. Okay, so that's find out what's going on over there. It's pretty funny. But the guy who was leading that particular one takes me for a walk and asks me what I think of that. What do I think of that expression session? They call it an expression session. And I said, I think that it's completely meaningless bullshit. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. He's like, oh, interesting. Well, how do you express it when you're emotionally upset? And I'm like, I know it's completely meaningless bullshit, and I give it up to spirit.
You're just so awesome.
Well, that's you. You're saying that about yourself because you wouldn't be able to perceive me in that way unless there's a part of you that knows it, that just knows it.
Sure it does.
See?
I just kind of sort of forget sometimes. Not that I forget.
Well,
It's
me
like
too.
I know it and yet.
Yes. Well, me too. And sometimes I find myself speaking out in illusion, but I don't take that as if that is something that's meaningful. Do you know what I mean? If I'm speaking out and as if the illusion is true, I'm not going to make that into a practice because I'm going to find it meaningful. And once I look at it and I recognize that it's not meaningful, then I'm not taking it anywhere with me because it's not getting me anything that I want. I know it's not getting me anything I want. All I want right now is peace of mind, and I can have that right now. I can have that right now.
I should say there is a bit of a difference. Some years ago, I haven't had an episode like this in a long time, but years ago, if I had that episode, it would have lasted a lot longer, would have been much more extreme because I totally believed that it would, the story. Now at least I kind of keep thinking like, wait a minute, this can't be right. This can't be true.
Yes.
This is not, So that kind of at least takes the edge off of it, and doesn't let you go very deep into it.
And that's enough. The remorse part, that's just to hold you in illusion longer. But that doesn't negate the healing that occurred.
I was suspecting that too, the remorse and driving and thinking, I'm sure this whole like, oh, I love him so much. That's not really the love.
Yes. You got it. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Thank you for your focus. Thank you for your heart. You're such a blessing, and just in the way the way you're willing to look at it, I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Hope.
So awesome. Yeah. And everyone, thank you for joining Wisdom Dialogues online. I'm here every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Hawaii time. That's Hawaii time. I got a lot of people on the mainland. Look up hopejohnson.org. Go to hopejohnson.org, okay? That's where you can get signed up to get notifications when these are occurring and come online. You could also look at the videos from there. You could also donate. I do accept donations. In fact, I stopped all of the, I was paying €250 for every episode to have, every episode of Wisdom Dialogues to have these 9 different notes taken by someone, and also having 3 short video clips happening, which people really appreciate. But it just wasn't showing itself for me anymore. So I canceled that service, and I would be really happy to get that service back again if I had the donations for it. So feel free to donate there, and any donations that you give, I give away books to people, and I use it for everything that has to do with Wisdom Dialogues. Isn't that fun? Or, anyone who would like to offer that kind of service to me, for Wisdom Dialogues. Anyone who would like to take notes and make posts for me, I'm totally open for that. I'm open to anyone who would like to make short video clips of my videos to help get the word out. The word that everyone is innocent and free, and to bring more laughter into the world. So anyone who would like to support that, that's totally appreciated. For more information, go to hopejohnson.org, or you can email me too, hopejohnson@me.com. That's my best email address, hopejohnson@me.com. You can also check out my essential oil company, miraclebotanicals.com. It links right from there. We have the best essential oils ever, 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 and we're always finding more, adding new ones all the time, infusing them with love, and I love you very much.
We love you too.
Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.